Hello and welcome to Coffee with the Angels. I'm Katie Kiefer of awakentheinnerlight.com and coffeewiththeangels.com. Excuse me, it is still early in my day. Um, so today is January 6th, 2019, and we are in new moon and partial eclipse energies. And so we really are in a space of new beginnings. And for me, I could really feel some timelines closing over the last couple of weeks. And part of that has to do with my mom passed away on December 30th. And so with that, and I felt it coming. I felt it coming like all through the month of December, this timeline just completely closing. So the life that I live now is exceptionally different from the life I grew up in. And some of the old patterns still show up and got very triggered when I was out there most recently. Like I did a musing when I was on my way out there. So there's a video on that too. And so as things are closing and we are now moving into the expansion and the openings and the next phases and the next things that are coming, it's important, I think, for us to be able to tune in and to be able to recreate ourselves, to recreate ourselves and our reality and the programs that we've run. And even if we've done a lot of work around reprogramming the subconscious mind and reprogramming our body, if we get triggered, it just means that there's more to do. That just means that there's something else that is either we're coming at it from a different aspect, or the roots haven't all been gotten, or there's just still something going on. And I view this as a journey. We are not looking to arrive at a destination. I mean, if you think about it, when you are going on a road trip and you get where you're going and you get to your room, wherever you're staying, and you kind of put your bags down and you're like, okay, now I'm here. What happens? Then it's usually that, okay, now what? Now what can I go do? What can I go explore? Okay, let's take a nap first. You move on to the next. I see our lifelong journeys the same. When we shift out of old paradigms and old programs and we move into something new, it's still that, okay, now what? What's next? What do we get to create now? Oh, there's something there that doesn't feel very good. Let's make those shifts. Or I can see that those programs are creating dense energies that just don't feel so good. So let's make some changes. And so that's what Coffee with the Angels today is about. It's about recreating ourselves. And I'll just read it. So I say, good morning. What will you share today about moving forward and recreating sacred self experientially? And the angels say, you put that very well, recreating sacred self experientially. That is the whole point, to recreate yourself and your experiences. Learning about, yet not experiencing self isn't growth or evolution. It is just a mere idea, a theory yet to be tested. Choose the next highest version of yourself and go experience that. Making new choices complete with action and follow through is a great way to experience self. Remember, every day, every moment is full of choices, whether you are aware or not. To quote your friend, life is a series of choices. She is spot on. Everything is a choice. You choose somewhere within to wake up in the morning. You choose to get out of bed. You choose to go to the toilet. Yes, in service of physical function, it is a choice of wear nonetheless. You choose slippers, shoes, socks, or bare feet. You choose to get dressed and what to wear. So many of your choices have gone on autopilot that you forgot they are choices. They are choices even when there are choices even when there appear to be none. In recreating yourself anew, remember choice. Choose and choose again. Each choice is an expression of who you are. When you bring yourself into awareness of your choices, you get to be conscious of this. Leave behind the old programs as often as you can and choose your own programs that you would like to express that help you speak your soul. This is a way to recreate yourself such that your sacred self is expressed and experienced in everyday life. It is your journey, your choices, and you reap the results. Remember and recognize your choices and choose again towards what feels right and good. Allow yourself the journey. Allow yourself the joy of the journey and sacred self experienced. And that's what the angels had to say about moving forward. And this feels so expansive for me, the idea of we get to choose and we get to choose again. So what does that mean? Okay, we choose to show up in this way in this situation. And then we realize, oh, that's an old program running and it didn't really work out as well as you had wanted it to. You know, at worst, maybe it blew up in your face. And at best, maybe it's like, just not quite where I wanted to be. So guess what? You get to choose again. When you recognize that, you can go, okay, noted. What programs are at play? Any programs that are at play, you can go and make shifts and changes to them. And just do it differently next time. It is a journey. This is an evolution that we're going through. At least that's my understanding of it. That this is what's happening. We are evolving. We are on a journey. And we don't have to do it perfectly. And, you know, for me, one of the big things that kind of came up in an experience that I had while I was in Missouri was the idea of if you're not in mastery, then it doesn't matter. You're a master or you're nothing. It's that kind of thing. And I'm like, it was a little insulting, that vibe going on. And I recognize where it came from. It came from old programs and a lot of hatred, which is old programming. But it is what it is. But that was something that really stung, that concept. And I was like, okay. And so I've had to really be able to choose. I can choose to accept the energy and concept of it's mastery or nothing. Or I can choose, like I have been, understanding that this really is a journey. So even though I've known this is a journey, I have known that this is okay. We don't have to do it perfectly. I've talked about this before, but then a program like that gets triggered. And you know what? It's not even mine. It's not even my program. But it was directed at me, and those thought forms and that energy stuck a little more than I would have liked. But that's because there is still something within that I was taught about that. It's not who I am in my sacred self. But it is a layer that I was taught. And apparently I hadn't got it completely removed. But it was better. And so progress matters. Progress really matters. And if you have somebody or something that shows up that triggers something, you're like, man, I have worked on this a lot. Guess what? You get to choose. You get to choose to recognize what's coming up. You get to choose what to do with it. And you can change it and you can move on and you can be able to step into that next best version of you. And it doesn't matter if other people understand or not. It's not their journey, it's yours. And yeah, sometimes that can be rough, but the journey is still yours. And we still get to decide what we do with our own journeys. And we get to decide with what we allow to cause us pain and harm. And yeah, in that moment, it may cause pain and harm. It might be hurtful in that moment because that's what we expect, or something like that. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine, and she's like, "Well, it hurts if you think it hurts," or I don't even remember exactly what she said, but it was the idea of that, allowing it to be, that we think that's what it is. And there's still part of that. It's like the truth of that resonates with me. The how do we get it to stop is still coming in. And really, so far, and like Coffee with Angels yesterday, it is posted on my Facebook page. There's a piece of that that's posted. My attachment to what other people thought, because they're family. And I can see the programs running around on them. I can see the programs because I know the history, intimately understand that history. And so I get the programs that are running around there. And it's really, it was hurtful because that's what I was taught that it's supposed to be. And, this is kind of weird, and I feel like I've just kind of lost where my train of thought was going. But anyway, we get to choose. We get to choose if we experience something as painful. We can go, okay, I'm done with letting this thing be hurtful to me. Get your divine guidance. Find out. Tune in. Listen to your high self, your sacred self, that soul call within. Because when we do that, we connect with a higher version of ourselves. We connect with the all that is. We connect in and go, okay, what about this is true and what about this is false? What can I let go? What is serving me? What programs are running? We can make the choices to make the change. And when we do so consciously, it makes a huge difference in how we experience our life. And it is a choice after choice after choice after choice. And so recognize that you have choice. Recognize that maybe some of the choices you make are on autopilot. And when you recognize that, go, oh, okay, I see that was on autopilot. I get to choose. I mean, if it's working for you, you can leave it on autopilot. I mean, really, if it's working for you, fine. But when you're aware of, oh, that one's on autopilot, you have that space to make a different choice if that's what you want. Or you can choose to leave it as it is. So I'm really excited about 2019. And I'm really excited to see about how choices are going to matter. What choices am I going to make? What choices are you going to make? How is this going to shift who we are? How is this going to show up in everyday life and in the collective? How is the world going to change from January 2019 to December 2019? It could be completely different. And our choices matter and get to make those influences happen. So, happy 2019. I hope things go really well for you. And here's to 2019. That's really all I can say. Here's to 2019. And I do have an office open in Greensboro now. And so if you're in the Greensboro area and would like to have an in-person reading or healing session, you can drop me a line through awakentheotherlight.com. Use the pop-up. I don't have that online booking set up yet, you can drop me a line, and we'll get you set up. I also continue to do remote, which you can book online for healing sessions and readings, intuitive angel readings. And so if you've got programs showing up and you need some help in seeing them, that I do a good job in finding, what programs are at play. It's actually one of my favorite things to do. Been ferreting my own out for a long time, and it's fun to be able to do that and to help people move forward. So if you're interested in booking a session, go to awakentheinnerlight.com and use the pop-up box. And I really wish you all the best. I hope you have a fantastic day and a fantastic year. I'll see you next time. Bye.